And what does TSW stand for?
The student will.
Okay, we are going to be using a timeline to sequence events from a nonfiction text. So I'm going to have you repeat that after me, or with me. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The student will use a timeline to sequence events from a nonfiction text. Good. Now, there's a couple of big words, Elijah, not right now. There's a couple of big words in this goal. The first one I underlined is sequence, and we're going to do something with that in just a moment. But the other word in this goal, is nonfiction. You should be somewhat familiar with that word, nonfiction. What does that mean, Ethan? True. And anything else you know about it? Nonfiction, it's usually true, and sometimes it would be things like a science textbook or a cultural studies lesson. But can nonfiction also be a story? Yeah, it can also be a story. Sometimes, though, it's a true story, or it has things that are facts in the story. So nonfiction doesn't always have to be a science lesson or something that, or research or anything like that. Nonfiction can also be a story. Today we're going to be reading a nonfiction story called Bat Loves the Night. But before we start, you need to know also, we talked about nonfiction, but what about sequence? We're going to be sequencing with a timeline, which looks something like this, but how can we sequence if we don't know what sequence means? Ethan, what does sequence mean? What do you think?
Sequence like order.
Very good, putting things in order. But to get the idea of sequence, we're going to play a quick little game. You can get 5 points as a class if you are able to do the goal of the game, which is there are 12 months in a year, right? And the months occur in order. Is that correct? So if you think of months, they occur in a certain order. Can anybody tell me the first month of the year, technically, at least on the American calendar? January. Okay, so if I'm going to put, first of all, these are the months of the year, so that's the title. Then I'm going to put January as our first month. And then our last month, anybody know the last month of the year? December. So I'm going to put that over on this dot. I filled in part of the sequencing line for you. There should be a month on each dot. You will have 2 minutes as a whole group, and listen carefully, 2 minutes as a whole group to get the months in order. When you think you have them in order, you're going to quickly sit back down in your same spot on the rug, and then I will stop the timer. And you must be walking. Ready? Get set, go.
Wait, stop. It's January, February. February is my favorite. September. Hey, this is your seat. That's your seat.
That took you 51 seconds. Way better than the goal, but before you get 5 points, I have to see if you did it correctly. So stay there, let's check it out. We got January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. You did it. Who's our secretary? Victoria. Please give us 5 points. Good job. And you are opening to page 206 and 207. You have 2 minutes to read the words and the definitions, and then we will play our little game of vocabulary charades. Watch carefully. Here we go. Let me get my pencil. Okay. Nathan.
Snuggle.
Suan is so snuggly. Okay, number 2.
You should have snuggled with your stuffed animal. That was easy. That's usually disgusting.
Elijah.
Slither.
Slithers, and that's your favorite animal.
Hey, you got the same one.
What deer?
Not the same one.
Okay.
Everett. Everett. I have it.
Everyone, run high
High five. High
Do
five.
the next one.
Oncoming interruption.
Here, Everett, back that
I
up.
get it now. I'm sorry.
I didn't expect to have a student volunteer.
It's funny.
Okay. Anna, what is he doing? Or what is it? Anna?
It's just like that picture.
Either yes or pass. Okay, fine, Everett, thank you.
That's okay. Wait, I want to see them get it.
Say it again. Dawes, it said Joses, but you are correct.
Joses.
Excellent.
let's-
Everett was taking a nap.
Everybody does.
Joses.
It's orange.
Turn in your book, so make sure you have your clipboard handy. And you can turn the book. We're going to preview our lesson. And we're going to start on page 209 where it says, preview the topic mammals. So a bat is a mammal. And a volunteer who would like to read the first paragraph. I saw Bella first. Oh, she has always been interested in what?
Animals.
Animals, very good. So of course, if she's going to write a book, it makes sense that she's going to write a book about animals, and most especially bats, because she studied those. And then our illustrator, Sarah Fox Davies, somebody that hasn't read yet, Minji. Surprising thing happened to her as she was writing this book. Suan? A bat actually flew in her studio as she was drawing the pictures for this. Yes, a real bat. And Ethan?
Are they the same family? Do they have same second names?
Good question. It doesn't tell us, but that, I wonder. That's very interesting. Nice noticing. I didn't even notice that, Ethan. I wonder if they're sister-in-laws or something like that. Emma?
Like once we go on a field trip and we saw a bat like under the tree.
And we thought it was dead.
Whoa.
It was
Okay.
spraying grass.
Uh-huh.
With water. So I told him to spray some water on the bat. So he picked up the bat, sprayed some water, and the bat actually flew into the tree. Yeah.
Whoa. So you guys can really relate with this story. Okay, so I will read the sections. We will work together to figure out what event we should write. Page 212. Bat is waking, upside down as usual, hanging by her toenails. Her beady eyes open, her pixie ears twist so fine, the finger bones inside show through. And we're going to stop there. What is our main event on this page? And if you need to look at it for a minute. What is our main event? How could you say it in one simple sentence? Ethan, what do you think?
She wakes up.
Perfect. She does a lot of things. She unfurls her wings, she listens to signals, but the main event is what? She wakes up. So you're going to write bat wakes up. Simple. That's our first main event. Out. Out under the broken tile into the nighttime garden. Bing. Over bushes, under trees, between fence posts, through the tangled hedge, she swoops, untouched. Bat is at home in the darkness as a fish is in the water. She doesn't need to see. She can hear where she's going. Go back and look at page 213. That's where we started, to 215. Try to pick out the main event from this section. What is the main thing that's happening? Just wait, I want to make sure everybody has a chance to think about it for a minute. So 213 to 15, what is the main event? What's happening? Suan?
The bat flies
Bat flies, good. And where is the bat flying?
to the garden.
So is that inside or outside? Okay, so would a okay sentence be bat flies outside?
No.
No? Bella, what's your idea?
Bat flies outside of the garden.
Outside in the garden? Okay, do we want
Out in
it
the dark.
out in the dark? Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's do that. Bat flies
In the dark.
outside in the dark, because that's an important key. He's not flying in the sunlight, he's flying in the dark. That's a good
I
detail.
think it's-
Io, what are we going to be looking at next? What pages? 216 to? Good. Okay, let's make sure we're on the right pages. Everybody should be following along. Okay. Bat shouts as she flies, louder than a hammer blow, higher than a squeak. She beams her voice around her like a flashlight, and the echoes come singing back. They carry a sound picture of all her voice has touched. Listening hard, Bat can hear every detail, the smallest twigs, the shape of leaves. Bing! Gliding and fluttering back and forth, she shouts her torch of sound among the trees, listening for her supper. All is still. Okay, think about those 2 pages for a minute. There's things going on, but what is the main event? What's the main thing that's happening in this part of the story? Just a second, Elijah, I'll call on you, but I want to make sure everybody has a time to think about it. What is the main event on these 2 pages? Okay, Elijah, what do you think?
She's trying to get her dinner.
Okay, good. She's hunting. Do you like that? Is that our main event?
She's hunting with, like, she can't see, so it's using its.
I mean, she could see, but she
Well,
uses
dark.
echolocation instead.
Very good. Actually, we're going to look at that detail later, but she's using echolocation to find her dinner. Do we want to use that word for more detail?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bat hunts using echolocation. We can already tell by the text that echolocation means she uses her sound, her hearing, rather than her sight. 218. This is the last one we get to do together, so you know how it works. So make sure you're on 218. There's only one sentence.
Yeah.
Then a fat moth takes flight below her. Let me repeat it. Then a fat moth takes flight below her. What's our main event? Ethan?
A moth flies below her.
Very good. Has she caught it yet?
No.
No, but she sees her dinner, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we want to write? Ethan, what did you say again?
A moth flies below her.
Okay, a moth flies below bat. Now it is your chance to see how well you can show this skill with your partner. So there are 3 sections that you're going to write an event for, just like we just did together. You're going to have about 6 minutes with your partner, maybe less if you need less, maybe more if you need more. But you're going to go anywhere you want in the room. You're going to read each section out loud together. So take turns, decide how you want to do it. Maybe each of you reads a sentence, maybe each of you reads a page. You decide. Read it out loud, and then together decide what is the main event for this section, and for this section. How many sections do you have to read? 3. How many events should you have written? 3. At the end of that time, I'll call you back, and you'll get to share some of your answers. Are there any questions? Okay, find your spot. Go with your partner. You already know who you've got. You have about 6 minutes. I only need to tell your partner that.
Oh, so I think
So you start here, Matt.
oh yeah.
Should we eat a cat?
Talk about it with
She flies to the roof in the left shadow and swoops under the broken tire.
Before you turn the page, so should we write it's almost daytime?
Yeah.
Goes back.
And when you finish, if you finish early, check over, make sure it's what you want.
Now it's nice to read the words. Inside there's coming back to the
Eats the moth like a sweet candy. Are both of those capturing the main event?
Yeah.
The main event is eating the moth, so yes, both of them very well so far. Let's do one more group for that one. Ethan?
Bat tries, bat tries to catch the moth.
Bat tries to catch the moth. Now, in that, does he actually catch the moth and eat it?
Well,
No. She does. She eats it. Remember, they describe it as paper candy, like the paper coming out. So you may want to fix that because he actually does catch the moth, and she eats it.
I wrote that.
So you're close, but it didn't quite capture the main event.
She gets them up.
That would work, yes. Elijah, you should have the same thing written.
She did.
Okay. And Suan?
That eats mom.
That eats them up. Perfect. Good. Let's go to the next one. So 220 to 221. Elijah.
It's almost daytime.
It's almost daytime. Is that the main event? Let's see what other people wrote. Suan?
That goes home.
That goes home. Any other responses? Anna? It's past Bat's bedtime. Ethan?
That goes back under the broken tile.
Very good. The two that I would say were the best, that captures the main event, Bat goes home. She returns to the place that she began from. Last one, page 222 to 223. Bella, this time, you share for your group.
She goes down to the
She goes down to feed her babies. Okay?
No,
Ethan.
baby. She
Baby.
only has one.
Very good.
That hangs on the roof.
Bat hangs on the roof. Any others? Different ones? Suan? Bat has what? Has a rest.
Baby back.
Baby bats cannot fly. Remember, this should be an event. What is happening?
No, how is 50 babies? Because it's like 50 hungry bats.
Well, this is a good question.
No.
If you notice, if you read carefully, bats often congregate together. So there's going to be, if you notice there's more than one large bat going in, that's because all their little batlings are grouped together, but there's a lot of mother bats. So even though there's lots of batlings, there's only one baby that's actually Bat's baby. So that actually, very good job group that you noticed that. It's just one batling that she's going home to. Bella.
That the bats. She recognized her baby's voice.
Yes, and that's a clue that it's just the one baby, right? Okay, you heard your partner group's answers. Now it's time for you to practice all by yourself. So this time, you're not going to get help from me or your partner. You're going to see if you can pick out the main event all by yourself. Bat knows her baby's voice and calls to it. Is everybody on page 224?
Yes.
The velvet scrap batling clings aboard and clings to Bat's fur, climbs aboard and clings to Bat's fur by its coat hanger feet. Wrapped in her leathery wings, the baby snuggles to sleep. Page 225, our last page. Outside, the birds are singing. The flowers turn their faces to the sun. But inside the roof hole, the darkness stays. Bat dozes with her batling waiting. When the tide of night rises again, Bat will wake and plunge into the blackness, shouting, Bat loves the night. Go ahead and write your last main event. As soon as you're finished, you can bring me your paper and you can put your book away, your clipboard away, and sit down for our writing.